Oh, you're so whingy.
Hello. What's happening?
Will you be okay? If I put you outside, will you be okay?
Hey guys, and welcome to Faewood. As you might be able to hear, Binks is very clingy right now and he's insistent on cuddles, even though I stopped getting ready for this video numerous times to give him lots of cuddles. Just gave him some cuddles then, thinking that might tide him over, but he is at the door just like, meow.
Cuddle me.
It's so adorable, but I don't really want to let them loose in my studio at the moment because they're still young, super playful, and a little bit destructive. So I just can foresee things, either them getting hurt or them destroying things that, obviously I don't want destroyed and that sort of thing. So it's just safer for now to keep them out of the studio. And I might tentatively here and there allow them to have a look in and, wander about, but I'm going to have to really be careful because, I don't know, they climb up everything. I can picture them just climbing up the costumes, ripping big holes in it, chewing off things, who knows what. So I don't need kitten chaos in the studio at this point in time. Anyway, today I thought, we're into the new year and I thought it would be a good opportunity to take a look on what 2021 was like on my channel and then talk about some plans that I have going forward into 2022. So before going into plans and things that'll be happening in the year and some changes on my channel and things like that, I thought, well, let's start out firstly going through my videos and just having a bit of a recap of what happened on my channel, I guess. It'll be good for me too, I think, just to remind myself the types of videos I had. It might help me when I think about the content that I want to do going forward and that sort of thing. So I've got my phone here and I've just logged into my account because I need to remind myself the videos that I've done, and I had to watch a couple of them back just to refresh my memory of what the video was and that sort of thing, because a year can be a lot of videos and you sort of forget sometimes what was in them. Right, so the first video I did was painting minis. Now this was a really fun project for me. I hadn't ever painted minis before and I really enjoyed it. It was very obviously intricate work, so that was quite challenging. But I also really loved the intro for this video where I did a little spoof kind of part from the labyrinth in that as well. But yeah, anyway, this was fun and I got to use the chrome paint, the Molotow chrome paint that I bought on these little minis, and I think that was the first time I was sort of playing around with it. And oh, that's great paint, really fun paint. It did okay, that video, for me. Can you hear that scratching? I bet that's Binks. Binks! He's so determined. And Dan's home too, so I thought he would be fine. He'd go and hang out with Dan, but I guess not. Anyway, the next video I had was a chatty get ready with me using the Beetlejuice Melt eyeshadow palette, and I was talking about in that video changes on my channel at that point as well, and I sort of rewatched that again because that was, I think, my first video where I was reflecting on what you want to do for the year and what my goals are and what the channel was and all this sort of stuff. And I couldn't remember what they were, to be honest. And looking back, it was pretty loose. It was sort of stay happy, get healthy. Yeah, I think I was oh, I'll be more organized on my channel and things like that, which did and didn't happen. I did some organization insofar as I've definitely started documenting my ideas for videos a bit more thoroughly these days, just creating a list of video ideas, because sometimes I'll come up with things and I think I'll remember all of the ideas I had because I don't know, I just think I will, and then I will forget some of them and I'll be like, oh yeah, that's right, I was gonna do blah blah blah. I'm so sorry about that scratching. He is right at the door let me in. Yeah, so anyway, like I was trying to be more organized in that sort of regard, and I was to an extent. Did I follow my get healthy, get happy, that sort of thing? Yes and no. You know, we've been in lockdown in Melbourne more than anywhere else in the world. I had a look and it was something like 260 days between like March in 2020 and, you know, the last lockdown we had. That was a really long time in lockdown. It was pretty hard to stay positive during all of that, and cases are spiking again. Not going into 2022 with any grand plans, I guess. After that, I did start working on the mask / jewelry / armor piece. Now, this one really tested me, and I feel like it probably wasn't the year to be testing myself with something that difficult. But then again, I suppose going into it, I wasn't really sure whether it would be such a challenge or not, or whether I would work out how to do it, all of that. And I'll just talk about these videos as a whole because I did a series of them, which I've done before when I've done a big jewelry piece, because it is a way for me to share the process of doing embroidery jewelry making, which is quite obviously a lengthy thing to do, and you know, not something I can usually show people. So, and I am showing a bit more of the process than maybe some time-lapse things do, where people show creating something really detailed and difficult and stuff like that, but they really kind of put it down to one video and you get a bit of a sense of how they made it, but not really. So it was sort of trying to do that. I haven't given up on that project. I'm gonna have to really try and ignore that scratching. It's really hard. I haven't given up on that project, but I have put it aside because I just wasn't in the mindset for it. And sometimes with projects like that, when you do get to a point where, I don't know, you're really at a standstill with it, you sort of have to put them down sometimes and just walk away for a bit and come back with some fresh eyes. So I did that, and I thought, you know, I'm just going to wait until I have the drive to really, you know, keep going with it. And I definitely do want to keep going with it, to whatever end, you know, it comes to. It's definitely, I haven't done everything on it that I feel like I can do, at least. Whether it comes out how I envisaged, I'm not sure, because you know, already there's been some things that I wish weren't the case. Like I wish it wasn't so heavy, for example. I wish the locking mechanism worked a little bit better. There's damage that has happened to the leather that I bought. I didn't realize how easily damaged that would become. I already know it's not going to be exactly what I hoped it would be, which I feel like is true of a lot of things that we make when we're going down a new avenue of creation and we've not tried something before. Usually you learn something from that and think, you know, if I was to do it again, maybe there'd be things I'd change. And I guess because I don't make the same things over and over, I don't necessarily get the opportunity to do that. But then sometimes I end up deciding to revisit something down the track and remaking it. Thanks! That boy. All right, following on from that, I did try out the chrome paints, as I said, on those minis, but then I decided to do a dedicated video on testing out the chromes, specifically the Molotow silver paint that I tried, which is fantastic. And then I bought this paint called the Mirroriest Mirror Paint, which was a very interesting comparison of those two. And then while I was at it, I pulled in all the different silver, you know, paints and waxes and things that I have on hand, so that I could really see what they were all like compared to each other. And yeah, it was interesting to really put them to the test next to each other. I used a piece of wood that I spray painted with black glossy spray paint, because that'll help give the best chrome finish if you have a black gloss finish, and that gave an even playing field to all of the chromes. And then I did try a few other things with the chrome paints as well, to test them out and everything like that. Long story short, I liked both chromes for different reasons. Of the two main ones that I was testing out, I think if I was picking a favourite, it would be the Molotow. I really like that chrome paint. I just feel like it just looks a little bit more chrome-like, but then it's harder to work with. So yeah, it needed more layers and things like that. So definitely benefits to both. I'd also like to try, I feel like there's one, is it called All Clad? There's another silver paint that's also chromey that's, I think, cheaper, and I wouldn't mind trying that because I feel like that would potentially be good on larger projects, because these are both expensive chromes and best used probably sparingly. So and then, yeah, again, following on from that, using the chrome in my sword, which, will you be able to see it from here? Can you see the sword that I've got there? Anyway, I chrome painted the sword, which was a little bit tricky because, I don't know, I've found that spray paint that people use on foam has been a pain in the butt, honestly. I've forgotten what it's called now. Right, yes, Plasti Dip. I get why people use it. It does create a bit of a barrier that allows the paint to not just soak right into the foam. But every time I use it, before I even touch it, it sort of bubbles. And I wish I knew what was causing it and how to reduce that from happening. I don't know if other people will find the same thing. I've not heard anyone talk about it, so I'm just like baffled of how to use Plasti Dip in a way that I can enjoy it. And then if you mar the Plasti Dip at all, if it gets sort of scratched or whatever, it's the type of thing that it'll leave a chunk and potentially it'll pull right off. So you can end up with a big chunk out of it. It's not the type of paint you can, you know, buff back or sand back and then respray over. You will see that gouge in that paint afterwards, no matter what you do. So I spray painted my sword and it just had bubbles and texture and everything everywhere, which obviously looked really terrible. So I had to redo it, which, yeah, that was a pain. Now, a video that I was really proud of actually was turning my LED tree into like a moss covered kind of Avatar inspired tree, because I used a lot of glowing paints and things on mushrooms and stuff like that, and I am really happy with the outcome of that project. It was really fun to do. That video has done better than a lot of my other videos, with 430 views, which I know is not that many. And I don't know, a lot of people with channels my size get that amount of views every video, but for whatever reason I don't. I don't know why. I think probably a lot of people that are subscribed to my channel have only subscribed because they want one certain video, probably my fairy wings or something like that. So I would suggest that I probably don't have as many people watching all of my content, which is, yeah, fine. I guess it's the way it is. It can be disheartening because, you know, I spend a lot of time on each video. Even the more simple videos, I spend a long time with the editing on them as well. I might have to weigh up the amount of time I'm putting into things versus what's worthwhile, because, you know, I'd be lucky if I get a couple of dollars on one of those videos and I'm spending a whole day doing it. So that's why it's disheartening. And it's not even about the money either. You just sort of think you want people to actually just watch it, you know. So alright, so I made my moss covered cake. That was a fun little one. The cake was very flat, much more flat than I intended, but I didn't have the right cake pan. But the moss itself came out really well and I was really happy with that. And I liked my little mushroom guys. Oh, this was fun too. So, you know, I bought a bunch of stuff from Stuart Semple when I got that chrome mirrorist mirror paint. I got glitter as well. I got some glow powders, which I've used in some projects. I actually got a rainbow coloured paint too, which I never used on the channel. But I got that glitteriest glitter that he sells as well. And if anyone's been here for any length of time, they've probably realised I like sparkly things and I love things like glitter. So I, of course, had to get this, you know, glitteriest glitter. The problem was it was really difficult to be able to distinguish whether I thought one glitter was better than the other. I got a lot of views on that video. People didn't love it. I got some dislikes on that one, more than usual, so possibly because I didn't really have a good way to kind of conclude which one I thought was the most sparkliest of the glitters. I'm not sure. For whatever reason, people were like not loving that one. Now I did a flower fairy makeup look for one of my videos. I had intended to do some more makeup looks, or almost more, I guess, maybe special effects type things. I don't know if I'd quite go as far as calling it special effects, but maybe more fantasy or event type makeup. I didn't quite get to it. I did buy some things for doing it, and I don't know why I didn't actually sit down and do any of those videos. I'd be curious to know if people are still interested in that sort of video. Maybe I'll give one a try, because like usually I can tell by views and likes and stuff like that if it's worth doing. I had the idea of doing more fantasy makeup, and then also maybe doing some, like, telling some fantasy stories and things like that. There's been this real trend for almost a podcast style makeup videos. People are doing that a lot with the true crime stuff. There's been some ghost ones as well. And I thought it could be fun to do myths and legends or something like that, like fantasy stories or something like that. It would be a lot of work though, research-wise. I think that's why I didn't end up doing it. I was going to do one around Halloween time, but because I was doing extra videos as well, it just didn't happen. And then I did have a video talking about my favourite channels. I won't go through all of the channels I mentioned in that video, but you know, definitely go back and have a look if you want to see some of the channels that I really love. I think there's some great channels that I've mentioned in there that I still watch, still enjoy. There's a bunch more that I watch as well, but I just picked out a few that I figured that you guys might like. Oh, then there was the wings out of CDs and DVDs. Holy cow, that was definitely a major project for this year. It really took me a really long time. I'm trying to think how long in total. I feel like I want to say a month and a half maybe, or something like that. Obviously you guys didn't see all of that back work because to you it's just a weekly video, but as I'm sure you could imagine if you've seen that video, it was very time consuming. People did seem to like that video. Again, for me at least, I got about 700 views on it, which is good for my channel, and the feedback seemed to be really good as well. I tried to give some good tips that I found along the way. You know, I really try and do my research on things like that and see what's out there technique wise, and test it and see if I think it actually works, and try and like break down why it did or didn't work for me, so that hopefully if you guys try and do it, that you'll actually be able to do it. I had a fairy tale baking video. That's a really cute book. I mean, I made a cheesecake, which I guess just looks like a cheesecake, you know, nothing particularly fairy tale about the thing itself, but a very sweet book if you're into fairy tales, which obviously I am. And I love doing the cooking, aesthetic cooking type videos. I definitely want to continue with that. You guys seem to enjoy it. They're not, you know, my big ticket videos or anything like that, but I enjoy them, and they do seem to get good feedback. So, and then I did the foot on the wall. You guys can't really see it because it's out of frame, unfortunately, but I created some hands. Well, I mean, I bought the hands, but I did a project where I did these magical looking hands coming out of a wooden plaque on a wall and sculpted like magical plumes and stuff, I guess, around it and all of that sort of thing. And I wanted to do one that went with it that was a little bit humorous, and so I decided to make a foot. Doing the same thing by getting like, because I got jewelry hand, you know, the little stands that you get for jewelry that are a hand, and then for the foot I got a little mannequin foot because you can get that as well. So I bought this foot and painted it and did that up and made it look like a splash. So as if someone had fallen into this little magic portal and just their foot got caught. And yeah, that was fun. That did all right as well. Again, I mean, I keep saying this, but for my channel, because I realize it's not a lot of views, but 460 views on that one. And again, I just loved it. I thought it was fun. I did an updated craft room tour. I usually do this once a year, just because, you know, things change year to year in my studio. So if enough things have changed in my studio where I feel like I want to do an updated tour around my studio, then I'll do it. Not sure if I'll do it again this year, but instead I'm doing and I'm in the middle of doing it, a bit of a before and after, doing some reorganization of things. And I think that might be all I do as far as studio tours coming up. Expect that video down the track. Supernova and birthday haul. This was right before we went into lockdown. And I was so happy that I at least got to go to Supernova with my friend, and then also was able to go shopping on my birthday. It was a really quiet birthday, but I managed to go shopping and get some things. And I think it was like the day after we went into lockdown. So, and yeah, that was a long lockdown as well. But yeah, soon after that, things took a turn in the year for me. We went into lockdown, like I said, but then we also had massive storms in this area. Worst they've had in, I think someone said 25 years. They've been living here and never seen anything like it. Trees down everywhere. Everyone's power out. Like, I feel like there was something like over 100,000 houses without power. Yeah, we ended up without power for a few weeks. Luckily we ended up getting a generator, but the thing is with that, we were in winter, and yes, it doesn't snow, but it gets bitterly cold. The generator we had couldn't run any kind of heating, except we did eventually manage to get like a heated blanket, so we could heat that up at least and stay somewhat warm. But as you can imagine, it was quite miserable. We did manage to keep working because we were working from home because of, yeah, lockdown. Because the generator would run our computers, thank goodness, and we had internet, so that was fine. Yeah, that was a tough period. So I obviously took a break because, you know, while I could have probably filmed on my phone or something like that, it would have been miserably cold, no lights, like, it was just, no, it was terrible. And then I did have a series of videos, which I'll just talk about it in one, which was making a costume for my husband for the Goblin Ball, which actually didn't happen. Again, lockdown. I made a costume for him because we thought the Goblin Ball was going to happen. And then, you know, the lockdown just continued. They had to cancel the tickets. But I made him into the Green Man, so that was fun. I used Berta costumes, which, holy cow, what a nightmare. If anyone's used them, you know, and I even had comments saying, yeah, Berta's the worst. It was like, I even abandoned the instructions at the end and just went, I just need to just do my own thing at this point because I've got no freaking idea what you're trying to say. Like, I just could not translate it at all. So that was a challenge. I've had some craft hauls. I did a sewing pattern craft haul actually because they were $5. So for $5, and I had a voucher as well, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to buy it now. Make hay while the sun shines, as they say. And you just can't beat that price. Like usually they're $20-something here. So for $5, yeah, I jumped on that one straight away. Alright, cooking like a Viking, that was fun. Obviously it's not historically accurate cooking. Did not claim that at all. It's a Viking inspired cookbook from the restaurant we have in Melbourne that's a Viking restaurant. Molyneux, I think that's how you pronounce it. That was a fun video. Of course we adopted our cats, which you saw at the start of the video. And yeah, they've gotten big already. I don't think they're full size yet. They're still, you know, growing boys. And then I did have another chatty get ready with me, and Loki made an appearance on that one with the Meet Me in the Underworld palette. Lovely palette, by the way. And then we start going into Halloween. So I really tried to do a good focus on Halloween this year, and I intend to do that every year going forward. So I did extra videos. I tried to make it, you know, something I could actually achieve and do. I think I did 8 videos instead of 4 so just doubling the videos. And that seemed to work out pretty well, because the thing is I want to do projects in there as well, so I need to allow time for that. So I did some makeup looks, like spooky makeup looks, and a forest witch look. I did transforming a lantern and then putting that flame light in the middle. That was a really fun one. I've got spooky cocktails that I did with like dry ice and then using like luster dust to make that magical kind of swirl, and bloody cocktails and stuff like that. Spooky Halloween plants. I've always wanted some spooky Halloweeny plants, so I definitely wanted to throw that one in there. I showcased the Witchcrafting Handbook. Excellent book. I love that book. It was lots of fun. I made a witch's broom, which is still in my studio, actually right over there, which you can't see, but that was lots of fun. I did Nightmare Before Christmas cookbook and made Silence of the Lamb chops. The Wicked Baker cookbook, that was really fun. God, that was hard though. Like, that was stressful. Trying to make those candle cakes, which, yeah, they weren't the best, but I attempted it and had fun doing it, and hopefully you guys had fun watching me attempt to do it. Then I found the biggest witch's hat that I could possibly find, a pattern for that, and did that one. That was, again, a lot of fun. And I thought it would be good too, because it's a pattern that doesn't have instructions, so I thought it would be interesting for anyone thinking about getting it to see what my experience of trying to do that was. So hopefully that was helpful. And then coming to the last few videos, we've got the Christmas supplies mystery box unboxing. Oh my goodness, I had so much fun with that. That box was just so filled with goodies. Loved that. I had a fantasy aesthetic gift guide. You guys seem to respond well to that video, so I think I'll try and do some more gift guide type videos on handmade or fantasy stuff, because I think, you know, there's some really fun stuff you can find out there. So to bring those things to light and to showcase some, you know, crafters and stuff like that, I think would be really cool. So yeah, I'll try and do some more of those videos in the future as well. And then I made my Goblin Christmas bauble. That was so much work, you have no idea. It was like, I always bite off more than I can chew, because I mean, it was just a lot of sculpting, of course, and, you know, a lot of detail in it and everything like that. So it took me quite a long time. And then, yeah, cat-proofing the Christmas tree. I had fun editing that video, actually, because there was just a lot of nice footage of the kittens. There was some banter between me and my husband. It was just a nice video to edit, but it did take me quite a while to edit that one. Right, so well, that was the year in review, and now a little bit of an update for those who are interested on my plans for the channel going into the next year. So I mentioned for 2021 that I wanted to become more organised with my channel, and I did that to a point, but this year I'm going to do it a lot more, and I've also had to rethink the structure of the videos and things like that, so that I can up the quality of them and also have a better balance between my life and YouTube life. So I know if you've been with me for any period of time, you might recall that I originally had 2 videos a week, actually, and then knocked it back to 1. And again, I'm feeling like I need more time, really, to be able to bring out the type of videos I'm really proud of. So I've decided to change it to 3 videos a month instead, so taking 1 week off a month, basically. But basically, I'd really just want to make sure that I'm not having to try and do, I guess, in a way, filler videos, if you like. I mean, any video I do, I put a lot of work into it. Even the ones that I term filler videos are possibly ones that other people might find very labour intensive. The project ones, the amount of work that goes into those, you wouldn't believe it. But you know, I do want to bring more of those out and not have to, you know, think, oh, I'm nowhere near finishing my project. I quickly better scrape together some other type of video to buy myself some time. Instead, having that week off will hopefully give me that time that I need so that all my other videos can be a bit better in editing, a bit better in like the projects themselves and stuff like that. So that's what I hope to do in 2022. And I just need better balance for me too, because like, you know, I might get, say, $2 out of a video because, you know, a handful of people watched it and I've spent a crazy amount of time doing it. And that's time that I take away from my own life. And don't get me wrong, I love doing this channel. I love you guys. It's been just a joy to have a channel, and I never thought it would be as good as it is. I guess like I just didn't know what to expect. But I feel like we've got this really nice little community, this tiny little micro space in the internet world, which has been really nice and a great way for me to, you know, great outlet for me, especially during the pandemic and everything like that. But I definitely do just want to move towards having more videos that I'm like more passionate about and more time to be able to do that. Still want to do extra videos in Halloween time in that month like I did this year. That seems to be a really booming time for my channel, and I guess it makes sense with the type of things I make. So, and I thoroughly enjoyed that. And there was a lot of video ideas that I had for that I didn't even get to because it does take a really long time to do each video. So I've got plenty of things already lined up for next year, even though, yeah, we're well away from Halloween. But and I do want to return to doing Famous as well, even though I didn't do it this year because of, yeah, lockdown and things like that. Because, yeah, I just needed a break, really. There's just been a lot happening. It's been a rough period. It's been a rough period for us as well because of Fizzy lately. And I am going to take January off, so this is the last video you'll get from me until Feb. I know I just took some time, but honestly, I need to look after myself first, and you know, I think going forward I'll get into a better routine with it. But my idea is that Jan will be off for me every year. That'll be when I take a period off. Obviously, unless something happens and I might need to take time off for life. But hopefully the idea would be that Jan will be the month that I take off. And I think having Jan off this year as well just helped me with everything that's been going on. You know, I haven't been back into the studio as much yet, and haven't been in the headspace for creating yet. But I do have some videos coming. I know some of you did ask about the other craft box, and that video will be coming. Like I said, I'm doing a reorganization of the studio, so that video is coming. I plan to make more than one pair of fairy wings this year, possibly 3 pairs of fairy wings this year. I have some specific labyrinth themed projects in the works that I'm hoping I can bring to you guys. I don't really want to be too specific with ideas. I usually don't tell you guys because in case there's a delay or whatever. May or may not return to the mask project, but we'll see how that goes. I'm not forcing that project. I really want to dive headfirst into fantasy themed things, so more fantasy themed cooking, more like maybe a whole host of fairy themed videos. I would love to do some dragon themed stuff. I've got labyrinth stuff that I want to do. There's a bunch of things that I've got on my list that I really want to do. So I hope you guys are excited and looking forward to that. I hope you understand my need to take a bit more time off. And yeah, I hope you had a good New Year's. Hopefully 2022 is an improvement from 2021, but I'm not putting too much hope in anything right now. I'm just slowly easing myself into the year, honestly. Alright, well anyway, I better leave it there because this video is already probably so long, because I've been talking I think for an hour, and I need to edit this down to a much more manageable length. Thank you so much for supporting my channel, everyone. I really appreciate it. I hope you've had a good New Year's. Subscribe if you want to see all the stuff I've just talked about. And for the rest of you, I'll see you next time in Faewood. Bye, guys.